Passiamo quindi al panel dal titolo Il coinvolgimento dei giovani, Youth Engagement. E allora, the panelists are Tanja Kožuh, Popri, Primorski tehnološki park Slovenija. Na to stran, prosim. Milena Pallotta, Ivy Project Administrator at the EBR. Gregorio Vicky, Junior Program Officer presso Interreg Central Europe. Salve, hello. Irene Barro, Communication Assistant at the Veneto Region Office of the Interreg Italy-Slovenia program. And in Luka Čaudek, former Ivy Interreg Italy-Slovenia. Na to stran, dragi Luka. We will speak Slovenian, English, Italian and much more, and we begin like this. Tanja Kožuh, torej slovenščina. Ona je direktorica Primorskega tehnološkega parka v Sloveniji, je strateška vodja z izrazitim občutkom za razvoj ljudi in ekip ter z bogatimi izkušnjami pri soustvarjanju nacionalnega start-up ekosistema. Na svojo ekipo je izjemno ponosna. Da slišimo torej, kaj pravi danes. Prosim, če lahko razložite kaj več o projektu Popri. To je posebna iniciativa namenjena mladim, ki jo je razvil Primorski tehnološki park, če sem dobro razumel. Delite nam z nami, prosim, svoje izkušnje, kaj Popri ponujajo in na podlagi vaših dolgoletnih izkušenj pri delu z institucijami in mladimi, kateri so bili in kateri še vedno ostajajo vaši glavni izzivi. Vam torej besedo.
Najprej en lep pozdrav vsem in veliko čast in privilegij mi je, da danes sedim tukaj na okrogli mizi z mladimi. Tudi tako je prav, kajti predstavila bom projekt Popri, ki smo ga razvili v Primorskem tehnološkem parku. Pomeni pa je dejansko akronim za podjetnike prihodnosti. Popri celostno podpira mlade pri razvoju njihovih podjetniških idej. Namenjen je mladim od 12. do 29. leta starosti, vključuje pa podjetniško izobraževanje, mentorstvo, povezovanje izobraževanja z gospodarstvom in podjetniškim podpornim okoljem. Namen Poprov pa je, da mladi že v času izobraževanja dobijo svojo prvo podjetniško izkušnjo in se naučijo razmišljati in delovati kot podjetniki. Ta celostni proces se zaključi s podjetniškim tekmovanjem, kjer mladi predstavijo poslovne modele in pičajo pred strokovno komisijo. To sestavljajo običajno podjetniki, investitorji in predstavniki gospodarstva, zato da mladim lahko dajo čim bolj kakovostno povratno informacijo o njihovih podjetniških idejah. Poprije smo razvili že pred 23 leti kot regionalni projekt, ki se je začel v Novi Gorici. Leta 2015 smo ga razširili na območje celotne Slovenije, leta 2020 pa tudi mednarodno in danes poteka za 10 evropskih držav v okviru jadransko-jonske makroregije. Če povem samo nekaj statističnih podatkov, ki bodo za Slovenijo, zato ker učinka takih projektov se res meri dolgoročno na 10-20 let. Več kot 10.000 mladih je razvijalo podjetniške ideje v okviru Poprov. Približno 2/3 se jih priključi oziroma vrsti na tekmovanje. 10% teh mladih je kasneje ustanovilo svoja lastna podjetja in danes so mnogi med njimi uspešni podjetniki in tudi mentori novim generacijam mladih. Dodano vrednost tega tekmovanja je prepoznala tudi Evropska komisija. Namreč lani smo s Popri tekmovali na prestižnem evropskem tekmovanju in prejeli Evropsko nagrado za spodbujanje podjetništva v kategoriji internacionalizacija poslovanja. Zdaj, to je res za nas izjemen uspeh. Več kot 380 prijaviteljev je sodelovalo iz več kot 30 držav. Prej ste me vprašali tudi o izzivih.
Tako je.
Ja, imamo en velik izziv. Namreč naše delo temelji predvsem na predanosti, entuziazmu in veliki vztrajnosti ekipe in vseh partnerjev, ki sodelujejo v Popri. Največji izziv je pa financiranje. Gre za strateško pomemben program, ne samo za Slovenijo, za celotno Evropo, ki je zelo kompleksen, ki povezuje in vključuje res veliko število deležnikov, žal pa finančno skozi vsa ta leta ni ustrezno podprt. Vsako leto smo res izpostavljeni velikim izzivom in tudi tveganju, da finančno projekta ne bomo izpeljali. Namreč več kot 20 let na res kreativen način kombiniramo različne vire za izvedbo posameznih aktivnosti, ki jih črpamo nekatere iz različnih evropskih skladov, nekaj državnih virov, predvsem Ministrstva za gospodarstvo, turizem in šport, pa tudi iz Facility Pointa, ki deluje pod okriljem Ministrstva za kohezijo in regionalni razvoj. Veliko imamo sponzorjev, predvsem pa gre tukaj za ogromno naših lastnih virov. Prej sem povedala podatek, da je 10.000 mladih v Sloveniji že sodelovalo v tem projektu, ampak glejte, zaradi pomanjkanja finančnih virov nismo zadovoljni s temi rezultati, zato ker to predstavlja zgolj približno 2% vseh mladih v Sloveniji med 12 in 29 letom starosti. Zakaj nismo zadovoljni? Zato ker spopri mladi razvijajo podjetnostno kompetenco. In to je ena od 8 vseživljenjskih kompetenc, ki jih je Svet Evropske komisije priporočil kot najpomembnejše za življenje. Torej, podjetnostna kompetenca, Evropska komisija pravi, da je to kompetenca, znotraj katere bi vsak mlad v okviru svojega izobraževanja moral imeti vsaj eno podjetniško izkušnjo. In kljub temu, da že več kot 20 let delamo popri, nam je uspelo skozi to izkušnjo izpostaviti zgolj 2% mladih. Zdaj, zakaj so popri tako pomembni? Zato, ker dolgoročno ustvarjajo nove generacije podjetnikov, zato, ker mladim damo priložnost, da razvijajo svoje ideje, jih podpremo, usmerjamo, jih spodbujamo in zato bi morali kot družba odigrati celostno svojo vlogo. Pri tem mislim na šole, na gospodarstvo, na podporno okolje in tudi na oblasti, lokalne, nacionalne in evropske. Ker samo z usklajenim delovanjem in ustrezno finančno podporo bomo lahko zagotovili, da bodo mladi postali bodoči nosilci inovacij in ustanovitelji novih start-up podjetij. In na ta način bodo prispevali gospodarskemu razvoju in blaginji Evrope.
Najlepša hvala. Hvala, da ste delili torej z nami to zelo zanimivo zgodbo. And now we switch on English because our young guests on the stage, and we will speak about youth engagement with them, will speak in English. So we pass the mic to Milena Pallotta. Milena is an Ivy project administrator. She has developed a strong passion for European cooperation and youth policy through various volunteering experiences in Europe. She was an Ivy volunteer herself in 2019. So my questions are, could you please share with us what Ivy is and what it offers to young people? And how do you assess the involvement of young people in Interreg programs through the Ivy project?
All right, thank you very much for the question. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and I would like really to thank Interreg Italy-Slovenia for inviting us. So Ivy is the short name for Interreg Volunteering Youth, and in very few words we can say it's the volunteering program for Interreg. It started in 2018, and it's fully funded now by the European Commission's DG Regio and managed by ABR, the Association of European Board and Regions, where I work for. So over those 9 years of volunteering program in Ivy, we managed to engage more than 1,200 volunteers that were supporting some specific Interreg projects or Interreg programs. All the young people, they are aged between 18 to 30 years old, and they can be paired up with an Ivy mentor. And it was really a pleasure for me to exchange with some of you because I met some Ivy mentors around. So they will be volunteering they can volunteer from 2 to 6 months, and they can get into the core of Interreg because they can understand how Interreg works in practice, supporting the host organization in implementing concrete activities within Interreg. So they bring some creativity, they bring a new perspective into the activities of Interreg, and also through Ivy it is possible somehow to guarantee a kind of long-term sustainability of Interreg, because what young people bring is also the needs of the young generation into Interreg cooperation, so that in the present and in the future we can already work on the real needs and vision on the youth generation. When it comes to the impact and assessing a little bit the impact that Ivy had in Interreg programs, I would say it's very positive. We can think of the fact that when Ivy started, as I said, back in 2018, it included only 27 countries, so EU countries. By now, we reached 97. This already showed the big geographic area that Ivy now has reached, of course, because of Interreg, but it also shows how much it's supporting the integration into European policies. Also, I was checking into some statistics, and it's interesting to see that a kind of 70% of Interreg programs have hosted volunteers, which also shows how much young people have co-shaped the present and like the current present, because they started already now, it's almost 10 years, but also they will keep shaping the future. And thinking about the future, something also relevant is the contribution that Ivy volunteers brought into the consultation on the future of Interreg. So in 2024, there were some Ivy reporters supporting programs, and they helped them in communicating Interreg to citizens, but also they supported them in consulting citizens so that the future of Interreg can be shaped through the eyes of the citizens themselves. They really act very much as a bridge between Interreg and institutions of Interreg and citizens, so to make Interreg more understandable, talking about it in a way that is easy, more approachable towards citizens. And just to finish on this, I would like also to assess how much Ivy has impacted Interreg as a structure. Of course, the programs, but also Interreg as such, in the sense that when Ivy started, 2018, there were not so many youth-led initiatives or youth initiatives. By now, there is a full umbrella of initiatives under DG Regio, Youth for Cooperation, which includes Ivy, but also cross-border ambassadors, youth councils from macro-regional strategies. And this also shows so much the great impact that Ivy had at program level and in Interreg. Thank you very much for the question.
Wow, thank you. Milena, can I ask you, how old are you?
My look. So I don't know if you want to hear the answer. I'm
Just tell us.
33.
Oh, 33, wow, you look amazing. So she's right. She is right. That's why Ivy is so good. You become younger. No, I was fascinated also about your English speaking. So very good, very fast. I hope that you will be fast as she were. Okay. Gregorio Vicky, junior program, she was. Gregorio Vicky is junior program officer at the Interreg Central Europe program, former Ivy at the Interreg Central Europe program. Many programs carried out consultations last year on the future of Interreg. I know that you were also involved in these processes and even organized an exhibition. So tell us something more, please. Could you tell us your experience with such consultations and the outcomes from the youth perspective that you presented in the exhibitions? And what is the potential of youth for Interreg, in your opinion?
Thank you very much for having me here, and I will follow up on what Milena said, because I think it's the aim of this panel to actually showcase how youth is involved in Interreg and how Interreg can be future-proof also by keep involving youth. And I will say that Interreg is already doing great at that, and this is showcased by the programming consultation that started in 2024. By hearing the stakeholders actually involved in Interreg, and this is where Ivy played an active role by taking part in this consultation process by collecting opinions from the various stakeholders and analyzing them. So that's where I started my time in Interreg now 2 years ago, and this process at Interreg Central Europe meant collecting and analyzing the opinions of more than 200 stakeholders and organizing focus group with them. So it was, first of all, a great way to hear and to get to know about Interreg by learning directly from the people implementing the projects in the field. But it was also a great result because, of course, there are many messages that came out from this consultation. One of them, I have to mention it since Mrs. Polova is here with us today. unfortunately, this performance-based approach was not really in the mind of our stakeholders when we carried out the consultation 2 years ago. But based on their experience, it was possible to draw 3 main messages, which it was a bit the red wire that I also saw yesterday when the various projects were presenting themselves. And this is why we developed like the transnational Interreg programs as all these 3 key messages, which are building solidarity. And that's what Interreg does, and I think is the most important, in my opinion, is really how I found purpose and how it's easy to attract people, young people working in Interreg, because what really do at Interreg, I believe, is building European integration. And that's how it started, the European project in the 1950s with this famous call for creating de facto solidarity. And this is what I believe Interreg does every day on the field by involving different partners across borders. The second message is the one of achieving synergies. I'm surprised no one said it already in these 2 days, but this is what Interreg does, breaking the silos and so connecting different partners from different fields. We have academia, we have municipalities, we have research institutes, but we also have NGOs. We have private organizations. So this is really allowing these partners to meet and to answer the real needs that our societies face, and then delivering change. And this is the most important, because as it was really showcased by the projects yesterday, we have pilot projects that are active in the field, in the territories. And it doesn't end up here with Interreg, because of course from the pilot experiences we go back and we draw solutions that are then uptaken and allow for uptake and replicability in different territories. And this is why this 2 days event is also so important.
That's right.
So just to also summarize a bit, also connecting to the added value of youth. This was an amazing process that maybe if it wasn't for us, for youth, like was gonna end up in a report to the European Commission, and that was maybe it. And that's why it was my idea to give voice, not to youth, but really to the stakeholders that took part in this consultation, and to bring these 3 key messages to the European Parliament. And that's what I did, thanks to the support, of course, of other IVs, but also of the programs of Interact, of DG Regio. And that's what happened. In June last year, we had 1 week, a dedicated space in the European Parliament where we could really showcase the projects, like 13 projects, the quotes from the people that took part in this consultation, and directly exchange with policymakers, but also with all the network that is based in Brussels, and that unfortunately, since it was mentioned yesterday, and agreed that visibility is the greatest issue that Interreg faces, actually allow to the Brussels bubble to familiarize also to what's actually concretely happening on the ground, thanks to Interreg. So,
Bravo.
Thank
You did a great job. My compliments. Of course, I have to ask you the same thing I asked her. So how old are you?
What would you say?
Oh, no, it's too long. We have the lunch waiting for us.
Okay, 26.
26, okay, very good, well done. And of course we have the next speaker. She's Irene Barro, former Ivy at the Interreg Italy-Slovenia program, Regional Support Office, Veneto region, now working at the Regione Veneto as a communication assistant. So let's talk about communication. What are the strategic elements of the communication to young people in order to engage them? This is very difficult in this age and period that we are living in.
Thank you for the question. Yes, there are some strategic elements we have to keep in mind while talking to young people. And based on my experience, I will summarize them into 3 keywords. The first keyword is accessibility. When I first entered the Interreg world as an IV volunteer working on communication, one of the first things my mentor asked me was whether the concepts we were trying to communicate to the public were understandable to an audience not familiar with Interreg. So I think this is our starting point. We must be aware that Interreg, with its technicalities, procedures, and acronyms, is very difficult to understand to those outside the Interreg bubble. And this is particularly true when talking of young people who are very likely to have no prior knowledge in the field. We often fall into the trap of thinking that complex discourse shows our expertise, but this is not true when talking to young people, because we need to translate this institutional tone, institutional language into concrete opportunities. How? Showing to them that Interreg project results may have a strong impact on their life. We are here talking of operation of strategic importance, so I will give an example concerning one of these projects, which is Poseidone project. And the example are the summer schools organized to university students, so representing very great opportunities for their growth, both professional growth and personal growth. So effective communication is about making it clear that these opportunities exist. To summarize this first point, we need accessible content. My second keyword is authenticity. We need to connect with young people through what I call real stories told by real people approach. That is, empower individuals to tell their stories, both successful stories and the challenges they meet along the way. So this, in my opinion, a key element of this, let's say, authentic approach is peer-to-peer advocacy. That is to say, let young people lead the communication themselves. Why? First of all, because young generation tend to trust more their peers, and secondly, because they know their generation's language, social dynamics, tools. Just for example, think to social media and the trends on social media, who can represent a real effective way to engage young people. So yes, this is more like a dialogue, not a lecture. The idea is not to present Interreg in a flawless way, but to convey a message which resonates. Our third and last keyword is action. We have not only to inform and to marginally involve young people, but to encourage them to take action and to cooperate to the future of their regions. How? For example, by organizing events dedicated to them. And when I was IV reporter in 2024, in September 2024, the Veneto region, together with the Association of European Border Regions, organized the Interreg Cooperation Day in Venice. And before the event and during the event itself, young students were engaged in a series of dialogues concerning Interreg and cohesion policy. And they were also encouraged to take part in post-2027 consultations because their voice really matters. So to conclude my speech, we need to engage with young people through a dialogue. We need to speak their own language. And we have to make them aware that Interreg may have a strong impact on their lives, but at the same time they can have an impact on the future of European territorial cooperation. So my very, very final 2 cents are trust, empower young people because you won't regret it.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you for your advices. Based on what she said, you would need a younger moderator on this stage. But anyway, you have me, but we have young guests. And how old are you? I have to ask you because I asked them, so you have to answer too.
Yes. 27.
27, well done, ma molto bene. And we finished, last but not least, Luca Ciaudek, former Ivy reporter and the Internet Italy at the Interreg Italy-Slovenia program at the managing authority, active in the Ivy alumni group, still working on youth involvement. We have a very difficult question for you. It's the question of the questions. Why should Interreg believe in young people? What can you say about it?
Thank you for the question and thank you for the opportunity to be here and to bring my perspective. I put a timer on, so I have 3 minutes, and if I go beyond that, say something, I will stop.
You are saying good.
First of all, I would like to launch a provocation to all of you. I know it's absurd to say this, but I would like to ask you, why even Interreg exists? Like, what's the purpose? And I think one of the quotes of one of the previous panels was really illuminating, really good. And one of the panelists, she said that today's projects, today's Interreg builds the tomorrow's cooperation, builds tomorrow's Europe. And I think here lays the key about understanding why youth should be involved in Interreg, in policy making, in shaping our tomorrow's future. You see, for me, it's really hard to understand the perspective when we speak about the future of cooperation, the future of Europe, and then we don't consider the people that will live in that future, so the youth. So I think my previous co-panelists and my previous co-speakers today already mentioned the need for a structural approach, like programs, volunteering initiatives, a better communication, the example of Popri, and a new, different kind of cooperation between young people. But I would underline another different aspect, not just a top-down perspective, but also a bottom-up perspective. I believe that in each of your organizations, offices, managing authorities, even projects today here present, there are young people around you. And I would strongly encourage you to ask them, what do you want to see for the future? What do you think about this proposal? What do you believe we should do in the next 5 years? And I'm not saying here that all of the ideas that young people have are good or perfect. By no means, we have crazy ideas, and that's true. But I think it's really important that we start this intergenerational cooperation, dialogue, discussing the future. And I think that only that way we truly are building the Europe, the communities in Europe in which young people will feel attached to and willing to engage and participate. Otherwise, we risk that the communities, the projects that are today financed are not answering the needs of people that will live in those communities. So, yeah, to conclude, I will just ask you to pay attention to the next panel. I won't steal your job, but just listen and hear what young people have to say. It's really important, and I think it's a great opportunity that young people are given and will be given opportunities to bring their perspective, to bring their expectations, and with your help, with your guidance, with your expertise, we together can build something amazing. Thank you.
Wow. 3 minutes, please. Luca Ciaudek, thank you very much. Share with us your age. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was an amazing moment. Let's think about it. We have so much passion and knowledge on this stage right now. So make possible that these people come on the top of our organizations, because in this way, the future will be a nice future. So stand up and take a picture with you and thank Luca Ciaudek, Irene Barro, Gregorio Vichi, Milena Pallotta, Tania Kožuch. C'è un momento, ancora un momento, grazie. Ma come? Voi che siete praticissimi di fotografie e telefoni ve ne andate? No, facciamo la foto e con il telefono, ma anche con quello che si chiama macchina fotografica professionale. Forse non la conoscete, è una cosa d'altri tempi, ma per fortuna esiste ancora. Ok, grazie. Allora abbiamo la possibilità di credere in un futuro migliore nonostante tutto. Grazie a voi. Thank you very much. And the best is yet to come, dicono quelli bravi, e proprio per questo adesso chiudiamo prima del pranzo con l'apice del nostro racconto di oggi, appunto parlando o dando lo spazio al progetto merito, perché abbiamo la cerimonia di premiazione Students for Cooperation, la competizione Interreg Italia-Slovenia per le scuole secondarie di secondo grado, e quindi avremo il piacere di chiamare sul palco la squadra vincitrice, ma prima di questo vado a presentare, ovvero ad invitare sul palco coloro che ci spiegheranno e ci diranno qualcosa di più su questo progetto. Katia ed Erika per iniziare. Vedo che c'è anche Nassia e quindi vediamo se parlerà anche lei. Sapete che abbiamo poco tempo e quindi buongiorno, dober dan, a voi la parola per presentare quindi questo grande progetto che arriva al culmine con la premiazione di questa squadra, di questi ragazzi che arrivano dal mondo delle scuole. Prego, prossimo.
Thank you and hello everybody, and today we're going to present this competition, but I will give a super short presentation because I want to give more space to our school. It's a much deserved time that we have to give them. So the awarding ceremony for the Students for Cooperation, this is a competition which was born last year in the framework of the Interreg annual event, Interreg Go, which took place in Gorizia, Nova Gorica. And young volunteers from the Ivy program that were hosted by our program, Interreg Italy-Slovenia, they came up with this idea to engage young people from high schools and developed this competition that the European Commission then supported and financed. The European Commission financed the first prize, which was a study visit of the European institutions in Brussels. And it was a very successful competition. And this year we said, okay, let's do it again, of course. And the autonomous region Friuli-Venezia Giulia sponsored this competition, and the European Commission gave us the brand Youth for Cooperation. And just a very, very, very short presentation. It was, this is the prize that our this year's winners will get. And this is the jury, of course, you can see all of them. It's me, it's Beniamino Brunati representing the European Commission, and of course Nassia and Erika, our former Ivies, but now colleagues. And now I would like to give the floor to Beniamino Brunati, excuse me. He is online and he's giving his presentation and short greetings in streaming.
That's right, hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please take your time,
Good.
and this is the moment for your speech.
Yes, I will take my time, but not too much, I know. First of all, thank you very much for giving me the floor. Greetings from Brussels. I'm very honored to tune into the Italy-Slovenia's annual event. I have to say I followed the previous sessions. I was amazed by the amount of insights that I gathered until now. If I may say, in particular, during the session that just finished, I might be a bit biased, I don't know. So you are aware that the Commission considers youth participation, and in particular, in our case, in Interreg activities as a real priority. This has been the case for a few years. And this is why we promote a whole series of initiatives, as Katia was mentioning, under the Youth for Cooperation brand. So one of them is our flagship Interreg Volunteering Youth, the IV program, very well represented by Milena a few minutes ago. And it's precisely from the innovative idea of an IV volunteer over there at the Italy-Slovenia, I'm sorry for the lapsus, managing authority, Luca, that Students for Cooperation was born. At the Commission, we immediately welcomed this proposal. We saw it really as an opportunity to reach out to a demographics that we struggle to involve. Even through other youth initiatives, we didn't necessarily in the past reach high school students. These are fundamental for us because it's young people who are starting to enjoy their active citizenship right as they turn 18. They are reaching adulthood with a lot of energy, a lot of ideas, a lot of personal experiences, dreams, and sometimes also, I would say, frustrations about their life in cross-border regions. So last year, we successfully launched this initiative. I was very pleased afterwards with the program's choice to keep working on what works well. So thank you very much to the managing authority of Italy-Slovenia for launching again this second edition and for giving me the opportunity to be again part of the jury for this new edition of Students for Cooperation. From a distance from here in Brussels, I really found it very interesting, very fun. I actually enjoyed the task of analyzing the 13th project proposals that we received from the different schools. It gave me, I would say, a clear idea of what are the needs of the cross-border region according to the experience of teenagers that live it every day, of course, because they're from there. Also of their ideas to address what are the priorities through an intergenerational effort. I would really insist on the intergenerational element here. And overall, it was interesting to see how they experience really the cross-border interactions in their region and their visions from the past and for the future of a territory, the one between Italy and Slovenia, that is so rich in potential. So I noticed that different generations understand their region in different ways, but also with many common points. Through this, I realized that it's really, really fundamental to have intergenerational dialogue when we program and when we manage Interreg funds. So I'm generally convinced that if we want to make a long-lasting impact in the long term, in the coming decades, in our territories, we need to ensure good quality of life for everybody, for the different generations, citizens of all ages. And in order to do that, we need to bring everybody around the table and understand what are their needs and suggestions for the territory. So I am really confident that all the program authorities that are here today will understand this assignment and that everybody will put it into practice as we prepare the future generation of Interreg after 2027. So now to the specific subject of what we're about to do. The Merito project that we are about to award expresses, in my view, a strong desire of young adults to be active professionally in their own region, to be actors of its economic dynamism, and to make the most of all the economic potential of that the region can offer if we really make cooperation work and if this cooperation unleashes the effects of a genuine European integration. So I will conclude by thanking again the managing authority of Italy-Slovenia for organizing this second edition of Students for Cooperation. A big congratulations to all the students, school and teachers that took part in this edition, and in particular, of course, to the winners that worked on the Merito project proposal and that we will now award. It will be really my great pleasure to welcome you in Brussels just in a few weeks in May and to show you around the European institutions. I wish an equally successful future for the initiative, hopefully extended also to other border areas, and in general, a very active participation genuinely of the young citizens of all Interreg programs. Thank you again, now the spotlight back to the girls and guys who deserve it. And again, congratulations.
Thanks to you, grazie a lei, Beniamino Brunati. So girls, you have other things to say? It's time to call, okay. We do it in English, Slovenian, Italian, mixed? Slovenian. Okay, torej, gremo na slovenščino. I believe that you will understand because we are now inviting them on the stage. They are our winners, ladies and gentlemen. In to je 4. razred KB Državnega izobražnega zavoda Jožef Stefan Trst. To je šola s slovenskim učnim jezikom v Furlaniji, Julijski krajini. La scuola, una delle tante in lingua slovena del Friuli Venezia Giulia. Mateusz Škultence, Max Renzi, Steven Ščuka, Gabriel Malalan, Jana Peric in tudi profesorica Maja Smotla, ki je ostala pač med občinstvom. Iskrene čestitke, pridite bliže, prosim, venite un po' più vicino, eccoci qua. Ma io mescolo un po' le lingue, così ecco, darò un po' di filo da torcere ai nostri amici che fanno la traduzione. Abbiamo innanzitutto un video per presentare il vostro progetto, poi ce ne parlate. Va bene, v redu, imamo najprej video, potem pa nam boste vi razložili kaj več. Dajmo se usesti zdaj, medtem ko bo občinstvo gledalo video. So, prego regia, andiamo a vedere il video di presentazione. Ci siamo?
Young people have to decide on their future very early, often without having had the opportunity to really try out the career they are choosing.
They have the knowledge. What they lack is experience in a real working environment.
The Merito project offers young people between the ages of 18 and 22 structured cross-border work placement in Slovenia and Italy as part of the Interreg Italia-Slovenia program. Each internship is carried out jointly by young people from both countries in the same working environment. In this way, they acquire professional, linguistic, and intercultural skills.
Under the guidance of mentors, they develop professional knowledge and self-confidence through specific work tasks.
The project is led by a cross-border team. The coordinator is responsible for content organization, the accountant for financial transparency, and the IT specialist for the web platform merito.eu. Selection is based on knowledge, motivation, and potential. All young people are treated equally. Merito connects young people, businesses, and the cross-border regions. It strengthens employability, trust, and cross-border cooperation. It offers an experience that gives young people confidence in shaping their own future.
Facciamo un applauso, let's make an applause. Jana, boš ti govorila? Imaš ti prezentacijo? Ne, kdo ima skupaj? To je Dallinz za presentazione. Adesso abbiamo anche una PowerPoint presentazione, quindi ci spiegate qualcosa in più sul progetto. Je tako, boste razložili kaj več o projektu? Je tako, drži? Ja. In torej prosim, če lahko gremo na PowerPoint prezentacijo, če pritisni zelen gumb. In če lahko ustanete in razložite malo boljše oziroma dodate še kakšno informacijo, se jaz bom ustal o tem projektu che nosi naslov Merito. Questo è il titolo del progetto, adesso ce lo spiegano anche a parole. Prosim, prego. Allora, attendiamo un attimo, regia, se ci mettete il PowerPoint. Medtem nam boste še razložili, kako je šlo med tem procesom dela, se ste zabavali, so bili profesori dovolj sodelujoči, so vam pomagali, ja?
Med procesom smo si pomagali v skupini, smo bili zelo skupaj, smo skupno delali nad tem in tudi profesorica Smotlak nam je veliko pri tem pomagala.
Odlično. Ho fatto una domanda sui professori, li abbiamo visti a fare gli attori nel video, no? A fare finta di lavorare, eccetera. Mannaggia voi, bravissimi anche i professori. Il PowerPoint è pronto, smo pripravljeni, lahko nadaljujete svojo prezentacijo, prosim.
Spoštovana publika, dober dan. Mladi danes vstopamo v svet odraslosti Mladi danes vstopamo v odraslost brez nobene priložnosti, da bi resno razumeli, kam zares sodimo. Od nas si pričakujete, da pri 18 letih razumemo poklic ali študij, pri katerem nimamo niti nobenega dotika. Predstavljamo si 19-letnico iz Trsta ali iz Kopra. Je zelo uspešna dijakinja, motivirana, a razpleta med dvema študijskama opcijama. Izbere pravo, a po 2 letih razume, da to ni zanjo. Izgubila je čas, motivacijo in zaupanje vase. Takšne zgodbe niso izjema, so realnost mnogih mladih. Prav zaradi tega mi smo izvedli projekt Merito, da bi pomagali mladim sprejeti prej odločitve bolj natančno in na konkretne izkušnje.
V slovensko-italijanski čezmejni regiji se srečujemo s 3 povezanimi izzivi. Prvič je to, da mladim primanjkuje kakovostnega in izkustvenega poklicnega usmerjanja. Drugič je to, da mladi pogosto ne mislijo, da uspeh temelji na znanju, potencialu in delu. In tretje je to, da to privede mlade k izseljevanju iz regij. Hkrati pa živimo v območju z izjemnim potencialom, ker imamo 2 državi in torej 2 jezika, 2 trga dela in 2 kulturi, ki sta samo nekaj kilometrov drug od drugega. In ta bližina bi lahko bila neka dobra prednost, ampak dandanes je premalo izkoriščena. Merito, torej naš projekt prav v tem vidi priložnost, ki v tem čezmejnem sodelovanju, ki mora postati neka dobra izkušnja za mlade, ne le administrativna niti politična ideja. In izhajali smo iz enega pomembnega vprašanja, ki je, kako bi mi lahko pomagali oziroma omogočili mladim, da bi izbrali, kam oni delo in kam oni zares sodijo.
Rešitev, ki mi ponujamo, je Merito, to je sistem čezmejnih delovnih praks, ki je namenjen mladim med 18 in 22 letom. Mladim omogoča, da se preizkusijo v realnem delovnem okolju, preden da bi dokončno izbrali kariero. Ključna inovacija našega projekta je delovanje v čezmejnih parih. Delovanje v čezmejnih parih je koristno, ker tako vajenca poleg dela se bosta naučila tudi jezik, kulturo in delovanje v skupinah.
Pilotna faza projekta Merito poteka v 6 mestih. Trst, Videm, Benetke, Ljubljana, Koper in Kranj. V vsakem mestu bo vključenih 10 kakovostnih ustanov, tako iz znanstvenega kot humanističnega področja. Prilagoditev bomo imeli tudi za ranljive skupine in prilagoditve delovnemu območju. Državni izobraževalni zavod Jožef Stefan bo tudi, ki ima že dolgoletna izkušnja pri pripravi delovnih praks in tesne povezave z lokalnimi ustanovi in podjetji, bo takšna struktura zagotavlja tudi strokovno mentorstvo, transparentnost in kakovostno izvedbo.
Učinki projekta Merito so večplastni. Za mlade pomeni večja zaposljivost in bolj premišljene življenjske odločitve. Za podjetja pomeni motiviran kader in nove perspektive. Za deželo, regijo pa večja povezanost in več razlogov za mlade, da ostanejo. Ime Merito izhaja iz latinske besede meritus, kar pomeni si zaslužiti nekaj. Projekt mladim ne obljublja bližnjic, temveč jim ponuja priložnost, da si svojo prihodnost zaslužijo z izkušnjo. Tako 19-letnica ne bo več izgubila 2 let pri izbiri svojega študija in poklicne poti. Zaradi tega verjamemo, da Merito ni le projekt za mlade, je čezmejni model prihodnosti. Mreža podjetij in mladih, ki se poznajo, si zaupajo in sodelujo. Hvala za vašo pozornost.
Wow, je šlo! Ela, ce l'abbiamo fatta! Bravi! Complimenti! Our winners, i nostri zmagovalci, Merito! To je applaus za vas, počakam. Ah, se avessi avuto io questo progetto allora, ci ho messo 5 anni per capire cosa volevo fare. Bravo Čestita, moje iskrene čestitke je šlo, tudi splonki, čisto v redu, anche con i bigliettini, ci sta. Se avessero tutti i bigliettini anche su questo palco, forse avremmo finito prima. No, non avete sentito sta battuta, sto scherzando. Čas je zdaj za nagrajevanje. Namreč imamo pač uradno nagrado, predajam spet besedo vama, dekleta, da boste tudi razložila, kaj sploh prejmejo, quindi spiegateci il premio, in che cosa consiste.
English, Slovenian,
As you
Italian.
want, as you
Okay,
want.
so I'll speak in English, yes. So as my colleague already said, the prize that the Merito project will receive is actually a study visit to Brussels, sponsored by the Autonomous Region Friuli Venezia Giulia.
Intore, e quindi, signore e signori, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the project for Student for Cooperation, Project Merito, četrta KB državnega izobražnega zavoda Jožef Stefan Trst. Bravo, čestitam, naj povemo še to, vado a dire anche che ci sono anche i terzi e secondi classificati oggi in questa sala, z nami so tudi tretji in drugovrščeni v tej dvorani. There are also the teams from the third and second place in this room, and so we make an applause also for them. Na tretjem mestu al terzo posto projekt Bridejes, ekipa četrtega razreda klasičnega liceja državnega izobraževalnega zavoda Gregorčič Trubar Gorica, quindi un'altra scuola slovena del Friuli Venezia Giulia, in questo caso di Gorizia, col progetto Bridejes, dico bene, forse ho sbagliato, si tratta della quarta classe del liceo classico Gregorčič Trubar di Gorizia. Na drugem mestu, al secondo posto, pa že spet šola Jožef Stefan iz Trsta, di nuovo la stessa scuola, projekt Searching Around the Country, ekipa iz četrtega KB razreda iste šole, quindi stessa classe, stessa scuola, ma un altro progetto al secondo posto. Stanite, prosim, alzatevi. In vas vabimo na oder za skupinsko fotografijo, vi invitiamo sul palco, si una foto tutti insieme, in tako tretjevrščeni in drugovrščeni, pridite na oder, hvala lepa, come with us on the stage. I have to say it in English, otherwise they don't move their legs. So, very interesting that we have the same school on the first and the second place. Thanks to the professors, very well done. Odlično delo, če se lahko postavimo v dve vrsti, v redu, dve vrsti, če mettiamo in due file. Je tudi goriška šola tu med nami, c'è anche la scuola di Gorizia. Evo, zdravo, iske čestitke. Allora, praticamente stiamo concludendo questa parte e qua ci vuole, altro che questa macchina fotografica, ci vuole una macchina fotografica grande così. Dve vrsti, facciamo due file. Prvo vrščeni v prvo vrsto, drugo in tretjo vrščeni v drugo vrsto. Evo, stop, ker če ne ni luči. Evo, tako, andrà bene così? Tako, ecco, andate sulle proprie ginocchia, così, come gli sportivi, sicuramente siete sportivi anche voi. Ce l'abbiamo fatta, we did it! Classici licei, Gregorčič Trubar Gorica, in Jožef Stefan Trst. Complimenti a queste 3 squadre, 3 scuole